Or what if money wasn't tight, but it all went to buying nicer houses or cars or boats or whatever, because giving to God wasn't a priority? Or what if giving to God wasn't even on the radar for the family that you grew up in? Well, you have some very worthwhile work to do. Because if you want to live life to your fullest, you should look at those beliefs that you carry around with you. Those, we'll call them operating beliefs. Those beliefs that help you order how you live your life. Because those beliefs may or may not be true. You can learn to replace these beliefs. You can be liberated from their grip. People can change, and you can too. Your thoughts, they can either act as a straitjacket, or they can be your greatest ally. Consider these words of the Apostle Paul. This was to the church at Rome. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by... There it is. Yes. But be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well, how does this work? How can we renew our minds? How can we change those default patterns or whatever beliefs we grew up with that just don't serve us well because, well, they're not true? Other people can be very helpful in this process of renewing our minds. Counseling can be very profitable. Talking with a trusted friend. My favorite, well, I don't know, change is hardly ever pleasant, but my favorite way to get changed is to be in a small group. I love studying the Bible with other groups of people because I can and do read the Bible on my own, but it helps me a lot when someone who has a slightly different perspective can speak on what that passage means to them. And there have been some times where I thought, I never thought of that before. I'm going to make a change. Sometimes you just get the example of somebody else that's in your small group and thinking, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. These wrong beliefs. Here's one that's very logical, but it's wrong. Giving will make me poorer. Giving will make me poorer. That's logical in the sense of, well, I have this much. If I give this much away, I'll be poorer. Logical, but it turns out it's not true. If you're concerned that giving will make you poor, well, I read a lot in the Bible that says otherwise. Now, here's a caveat before I give you this next little chunk of the message. I hate it when preachers, and this happens a lot with the TV guys, when preachers say, well, you should give in order to get. I hate that. It seems like, well, that's not generosity. That's like self-serving. So that's not a good motivation. Well, if I give, I'll get more of that. No. Yet, when I read in the Bible, and I'm experiencing these things to be true. This is from Proverbs chapter 3. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. Then he will fill your barns with grain, and your vats will overflow with good wine. New Testament, words of Jesus. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure that you get back. And in the Old Testament, Hebrew Bible, the book of Malachi, it even says that we should test God in these principles. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse, so that there may be food in my house, and thus put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. See if I will not open the windows of heaven for you, and pour down for you an overflowing blessing. Actually, this morning, I'm going to introduce to you a no-risk opportunity for you to put God to the test on this. I have never done this in the church that I've served, but I know of other churches who have, and I like the idea. And I did check this out with the church leadership before I did this outrageous thing. This is called the 3-10 Tithe Challenge. I had these cards made up, and these are going to, we'll just leave them in the seat back, so the next couple of weeks we'll stuff the seats with them. So something you can do anytime. But here's how the challenge works. It has that quote from Malachi chapter 3, and it says, "Dear Pastor, I've decided I'm going to try this tithing thing. And so for the next 3 months, I'm going to give the first 10%. And at the end of the 3 months, if I do not feel that God has blessed me, I know I can ask for the money back." Yeah, you got 30 days after the 3 months. Now, be sure you identify your giving, because we're not going to say, "Pastor, I put $100 in every week, just cash." No, you got to ask if it's something we can verify. But yeah, we'll give it back to you. Just see, you just try it. So you're not going to hear that very often in church. Money back guarantee. My own experience of giving is that when I give, and especially giving sacrificially, either more comes my way, or we figure out how to live on less. But the real blessing is that either way, we have enough. We live in a culture where it is rare for people to have enough. We live in a culture where it's all about having more. But I have enough. And I cannot think of a time in my life when I did not have enough. And even when there's been times where I see need coming up, and if I pray, and I do, God makes a way. God makes a way. There's always enough. And it really makes sense in the big scheme of things. Because doesn't the Bible say, God says of himself, "The cattle on 1,000 hills are mine. All the gold is mine. All the silver is mine." So, if I'm in need of something that I didn't already have, I can just ask. And sure enough, God provides. So, the biggest blessing to me is having enough. Having enough. And there's more. Don't answer yet. There's more. This is not a commercial. No gives you knives or anything like that. But listen to this. In part through our generosity, we are laying up treasure for the future. We spend however many years we have here, but the rest of eternity, we're in God's presence. And these are words of Jesus from Matthew's Gospel. "Do not store up for yourselves treasure on earth, where moth and rust consume and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Last Sunday, I asked you to consider what you will give to Christ in support of the mission of First United Methodist, making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. If you are ready this morning to make a commitment for the year ahead, I invite you in just a moment to come forward and bring that commitment card. Leave it on the altar. You're welcome to remain for a moment and pray. If you are still working this out, what it is that you will give in the year ahead, you too are welcome to come if you like and pray. Or maybe there's something else on your heart this morning. You're welcome to come as well. May God find us faithful, and may we live into the marvelous grace of giving. Our altar rail is open. You're welcome to come as you like.